All right, so back to this stupid shit we gotta do.
Hey, man, this is not stupid shit. This is our life. We dedicate tens of minutes a week to this.
That's what I told my boss today.
Oh, back to this shit. Back. Okay.
Yeah.
When you started your shift, or
So
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about this episode. We're talking about this is actually really cool. I'd never heard about this. I'm glad somebody. Paul, did you bring this up?
I think Jacob did actually.
This is a good one.
Both of
The
us,
actual-
maybe.
This is a good one. We may do 2 episodes on this because I really like this. This is really interesting. So we're gonna talk about Skinwalker Ranch and just it sounds like a fucking porno movie, but
It really does.
Skinwalker Ranch is it's a ranch out in Utah. It's a 480 acre ranch out in Utah.
George Lucas owns it, right?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, right?
Skywalker Ranch, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one. I thought we were talking about the
dipshits.
bunny ranch. Man, what's going on?
We all
There is a lot
research
of
different
different
ranches.
Yeah.
Be like, I didn't need to research Skywalker Ranch. I know everything about Star Wars. So no,
Bunny
we're-
Ranch.
we'll let's. Ralph's like, I know about the Bunny Ranch.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with that one.
So the Skinwalker Ranch is named after a Navajo Indian. What do you call it? Like a witch is what they call it. What they refer to it as. That would it's. Hold on, has the ability to possess or disguise himself as an animal. So that's what they call a skinwalker. So Paul's kind of our resident expert on Skinwalker
Don't
Ranch.
say that.
No, he just did
okay.
research.
Learned
He
about
did.
it
We, we all
He
I
did
mean,
his
we
due
all
diligence.
we all did
Yeah.
some research on it.
It was Paul's idea. Fuck that.
So I'll kind of guide this conversation and interject if I say something wrong.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
from what I know about Skinwalker Ranches, I don't know about the previous ownership, but I know that the family that bought it in the late 80s, early 90s, whoever it was, they're the ones that they were, he was a breeder of Black Angus cattle, and he bought the ranch. And
The Sherman family.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it the Sherman family?
Yes.
Okay, so the Sherman family bought it.
I think he only
and-
owned it for like 2 or 3 years.
It was
Yeah.
for 2 years, yeah.
So Tom Sherman, isn't that his name? Tom Sherman?
No, I believe it's Terry.
Terry. Anyway,
yes.
so the Sherman family buys the ranch, and apparently there's a clause in the real estate contract that they're not allowed to dig on the ranch
Yeah.
without prior consent from the previous owner.
I forgot about that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
wow.
they don't see that at first. So they get a great deal on this ranch. I mean, it's a huge ranch, and they get a great deal on it. They don't even really notice it because it's in great cattle country. I've seen pictures of the ranch. I mean, the views are astounding.
No, it's beautiful. Like it's located in a Uinta Basin of the northeastern Utah near Ballard. That's a city, small city. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's surrounded by mountains and
Yeah,
cliffs.
it's great. It seems like a great area.
Yeah, and the people, the Sherman family, they wondered why such a beautiful place. Nobody
Go
wanted
for so cheap.
and nobody wanted it. And then
Right.
eventually they
So-
soon found out.
Apparently, the house on the property was pretty derelict, and they moved in. They had a lot of work to do before he could move his. So he bred Black Angus cattle. That was his thing. That
Right,
was
right.
so
Sick fuck.
And I mean, he was
He's
jerking off.
strong.
He was jerking off cows. I jerk off a cow myself every once in a while.
It's the thing
it's
to
like
do.
a
It's a
cow.
pastime.
Anyway, so they, from my understanding, the wife noticed it first. A lot of things going missing, like and turning up in really weird places in the
Yeah,
house.
well,
Like
for
all the cats,
Well,
I think,
for
were
for
gone.
one, before that, they started to notice like the I guess as far as like the previous owner and what they left as far as like security. A lot of things are padlocked.
Yeah, every door was
even
double dead bolted,
yeah.
and every window
There
was dead bolted,
yeah,
and they chained
chains,
2
heavy
big
chains.
guard dogs on either side of the house.
Yeah,
But they didn't notice that when they moved in. They said that they didn't notice that until
right, exactly. Till they settled
after
in.
weird things started happening there. So, like, the wife said she noticed it first when she noticed things she would set down and they would turn up in other places. But she didn't say anything to Terry.
Right.
And then until Terry came home and found like one of his post diggers was missing. I mean that's a pretty big piece of equipment.
The hell's a post digger? Oh, you're talking about for like a fence
Yeah,
line?
yeah.
Oh, for the
Fucking-
post.
Yeah,
Because
it's
they
like
were still
split.
Yeah,
they
splits the
had to
ground.
do
Yeah.
no not a hand post digger,
Oh.
like a piece of this was
Like
a
a hydraulic?
hydraulic
Oh,
that
okay.
hooks up to a tractor.
Okay.
Because when you're doing a lot of posts like on
Yeah,
it
that's
hooks
a
up-
lot of fucking work.
Yeah,
I've done that
you're
before.
talking like a 75, 90 pound, pull behind a tractor piece of
Yeah.
equipment, and it had gone missing, and so they were attributing it to their kids or something. Maybe she's getting old. That's what she was. But when that happened, that's when she decided to say something apparently, and that's when things started getting really weird. And I think it was shortly after that the wolf incident happened. So shortly after they moved in, they noticed this very large
Like 9
wolf-like
feet
animal.
tall,
They said it
about.
was
A dire wolf.
dire wolf. If you're a Stark,
There you go.
they said it was 3 to 4 times larger than a normal wolf, but it was tame. It came right up to him. Terry petted it. Apparently,
Yeah.
They said it was the size
But
of their
also-
car,
but no,
right?
But no, don't mention. Well, I forgot to mention though, when it was approaching, it was Terry and his son. They were at night, and this thing was approaching him. And I believe when I was looking at stuff, I think they said this thing was on its fucking hind legs. It was standing like very, very tall.
I didn't read that, but they
I
said it was
thought-
wolf-like and
Yeah, either way, but the weird thing about it was acting casual. It wasn't frightened. It wasn't
it was
scared.
tame.
It was tame, yeah. But the way it was walking, like it was just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah,
Just take it easy,
you
like
gotta
you
go,
said.
I gotta
Yeah,
go.
yeah. The father was petting it.
Yeah,
and
and
then
then all of a sudden it turned and grabbed one of the calves.
There you
Yeah,
go.
because it saw its
The
snout stick
calves,
out from
yeah.
the barn, and it went to it.
Gotta eat.
Yeah.
And Terry unloads at least 4 or 5 shots of his 44 Magnum revolver point blank into the chest of this thing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing
it didn't
happened.
phase it.
What's
Didn't
going
phase
on
it.
here?
Didn't really get its
No-
attention either.
Yeah, no blood or nothing. It didn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't even wince. And then after the 4th or 5th shot,
They got
the
the-
thing turns and just casually walks off.
Well,
and he
the
pulls
son-
out his rifle.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
30-06.
He pulls
Yeah.
out his rifle and hits it again, aiming for the heart, and hits the heart and doesn't even phase it. And then the second shot is the one
You saw
that
flesh.
it
Right.
winced and dropped a piece of flesh, and the thing scampered. He didn't even say run. He said he scampered away.
Yeah, it was still
And they
kind of
s-
casually walking away
Right,
at that
Yeah.
point.
And they said that the piece of flesh that it dropped smelled like it was
yeah.
rotting as soon as they found it.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
he
I
said
didn't know about
they
that part,
tracked
yeah.
it for 2 or 3 miles through the woods
Yeah,
before it
and
disappeared.
it just literally disappeared. Like
Yeah.
no trace of it. Fucking gone.
Yeah.
And the size of this
And
wolf.
this was not the last time that this animal had shown up around them, and they have
Yeah.
pictures. I mean, mind you, this is back in the early '90s, so camera technology is not fantastic, So especially the kind of cameras that you would have in rural Utah. But I mean, the pictures of this thing after they saw this, and they saw it like basically stalking them around the property every once in a while. Like
Right.
the wife said that she would be in the woods and like you would feel the like a gust of like a big bird or a bat fly by, and she had gotten the sensation a couple of times and then realized that it was a very, very large animal around her, but she couldn't see it. Kind of like the Predator, you know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
invisibly
that's fucking-
camouflaged.
want
That's
some
that's how they describe it. So and then that was the big incident with the bulletproof
that was-
wolf.
That was
Bulletproof
really
wolf.
well as far as like story wise. Like I mean, there's a lot of them, but man, that was one of the weirdest ones. There's
That's
a
when
lot
the
of,
town people started gossiping.
Yeah,
and,
well, like that's what they're saying. Like as far as like this thing has been like the origin of it has been around for a while, and it's supposedly like in the 1800s and particularly in the Civil War. The origins, like where this probably started, is these 2 young youth members, like I guess in the Civil War, took orders from a Kit Carson's, I believe his name is, and it was for like taking over or just I believe it was taking over some Navajo territory, but in result they put a curse on the land when that
Is that
happened.
what it was?
And they say in that result, emerged a Skinwalker for the very first time. They think that's where it came from, the legend. So because of that, that's where it originated. And they say it still walks to this day, obviously, and it roams around, in what's called Uinta Basin, in Utah.
So there's and the other theory is that they've. So one incident that Terry witnessed was a lot of people around the town have noticed flying triangular objects that move faster than they should and seem to hover and things like that. And on one occasion, Terry claims to have looked over the tree line to see these floating objects, these orange floating objects right at the top of the tree line through a deer scope on his rifle. And to see it, and what he described was these orbs that were forming, kind of flew around and then stopped and made this circular formation. And through the formation, it was at night, obviously, when he was watching this. And in the middle of the circle that they formed, he could see clear blue sky, and then an object came through that and flew low across the tree line and out.
Right.
And this is one of the later incidences that happened. There's a lot of incidents that happened on this property and one of the things that some of the skeptics of this, push on is that they all seem to center around Terry Sherman. Like all these weird things happen around him. There was an incident where one of these orbs came in and crushed his dogs. Did you hear about? Did you read about that one?
I think that was like the last straw for what?
Yeah.
It was 3 dogs he sent out, and I don't think they returned, or that was.
They did not
I think
return.
they just,
No.
Yeah, that was like the final straw for
Because
him and his family. They
these
had
orbs-
enough because they've been
These
terrorized
orbs looked
by
like
these
they were
things.
navigated, and they were going through the woods. And then he sent the dogs out. And then when he went over there, the dogs weren't coming back. And then he found an area where it was like burnt, like rubber, and it looked like those dogs were incinerated.
Wow.
And that wasn't really the last straw. The last straw was him and his wife.
Go ahead.
No, him and his wife were leaving to town, and he made a comment saying, "Man, because some of his cattle was ended up missing and this and that, and mutilated." And he made a comment like, "Man, thankfully none of our bulls are missing. It'll be something. We'll be kind of screwed if our bulls end up missing. So when they get back to the ranch, the bulls are nowhere to be found. There's 4 bulls. Those bulls were locked." In a trailer. I believe it was a trailer, but it was one of these things where there's no way that the bulls would have been in there if it wasn't literally open. But the thing is, the door was locked. It had cobwebs, like if it wasn't messed with for years. But they were all stuck in there. And then when they awoke, they started like trampling each other and going crazy. They let them out. So it's like maybe he thinks that he's being spied on.
Yeah.
And that was the last straw. He's like,
So
we gotta sell the property.
the first straw against that he said he noticed was his nephew was helping him move the cattle into the property, because he was moving from another piece of property. So he had this prize herd, and a couple of incidents that happened was one. He noticed that one of his prize heifers was missing out of the herd. Right. So he had noticed some of his cattle had gone missing, and he was trying to figure out what was going on. But he wasn't attributed it to anything paranormal. He was he didn't know what to attribute it to. Right. So he tracked down. He rode this in the snow. One of his prize heifers was missing out of the herd. Mm-hmm. So he tracked down this shepherd on horseback. Tracking down this heifer and like combing the property. Finally, he finds fresh prints. And so he starts following the tracks, and then he starts noticing they're getting longer, which means that the heifer's galloping. It's running from something. Right. There's broken twigs and branches everywhere. And he's following, and finally it comes to this clearing, and they just stop. There's nothing there
Right.
in the snow. You know, you're following it in snow. It's not mud or grass. You know, like it's not an Indian like on the ground looking at broken grass blades. We're talking about snow. And if you've ever been in snow, you can follow animal tracks pretty easily. And you can tell when they're fresh because if they're not fresh, they fill up with fresh powder as it's snowing, or they solidify as it refreezes. So
Right.
he's following tracks, and they just stop at this clearing. No blood, nothing. They're just gone. So then later on, he's with his nephew. His nephew had come to help him work the herd, and his nephew had this account. The nephew says that he was moving the herd across this river, and not really a river, more of a stream. And he noticed one of the heifers was struggling in the water, getting up this bank. But he also noticed that there was a calf stuck up ahead. So he was like, I'm going to go help this calf, and then I'll circle back and try to help this heifer. And so when he circled back to help this heifer, he found the heifer laying unresponsive in the water. And which he thought was kind of odd because the water wasn't deep enough for her to have drowned in, but the bank was pretty steep. So that was, he thought maybe she had just gotten exhausted. But when he came up to her, he said the back half of her was cut clean, like it was a surgical cut directly across one plane. And it was like all of her innards had been sucked out.
No blood.
No blood.
Yeah.
So imagine
Wow.
imagine coming across your cow, that the back half of it is gone, and what I equate it to is like it didn't sound like there was cauterization wounds when he described it. So like imagine taking the sharpest knife you
Lightsaber.
have. Well, no cauterization wounds, but yeah, I mean, just what I imagine is like a portal opening and closing.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Bam. Done.
But no cauterization,
Yeah.
but there was no blood either.
Yeah.
And all the internal organs, everything inside her was sucked out, was gone. It was just a hollow shell of a cow right there.
If you ask me, whatever this entity or whatever it is, just a theory. Maybe this thing can freeze time and just does what it wants to do, and just, I mean, like, because there's incidents where we're speaking like right now, it's multiple, like where things like this happen within a matter of seconds, a blink of an eye. You're talking about shit disappearing. They're saying there's lumber, like a shitload of lumber, heavy as fuck, one side of the field, and it's in a blink of an eye, it's moved 100 yards away across the
freezing
field,
time.
like fucking that.
Zach Morris used to do that.
It's-
Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no shit.
If you bring
Yeah,
up Saved by the Bell
but-
on this podcast one more fucking time.
Yeah, no fucking shit. But I don't know, like, after doing a lot of research and just I don't know, kind of jumping ahead, I wanted to kind of save like theories of like what this thing is, whatever. But I kind of think that it has a possibility of stopping time, and and just I don't know how else to fucking
So I'm gonna get through like what I know, and then you can finish it up.
Yeah.
So like from what I know after that, I mean things got a little weirder. He had to deal with some stuff, but he only owned the ranch for 2 or 3 years.
It was
and then
2 years, yeah.
He
94
sold
to
it. He
96.
sold it in '96. He sold it to
Bob Bigelow.
yeah, there you go, Rob Bigelow.
Bob.
And Bob Bigelow.
Yeah.
and,
Shit.
and
Bob.
Bob Bigelow.
That's true.
He's a real estate
Bam
developer.
Bam Bigelow.
That's how he
Yeah.
made his money. But he was
R.I.P..
also associated with the
hotels in space.
National, what is it? National Institute for
No,
Development of
National-
Science.
National
NIDS.
Institute for Discovery Science.
NIDS.
Yeah.
So NIDS did an 8-year investigation on this ranch. They set up a trailer and they had shifts around the clock with people looking through scopes and
Well, hold on,
cameras.
back it up a bit. But basically, Terry Sherman and his family were so desperate to sell, like they thought they had no hope. And luckily, Bob Bigelow was read up on that ranch and Skywalker Ranch of like if it's the phenomenon and these weird occurrences.
Yeah.
So it took an
Skinwalker
interest to him. Skinwalker Ranch. I'm sorry, Jesus Christ, fucking drunk, and you guys
Skin
put this
peeler.
shit in my head. Yeah, put this shit in my head.
Did he pitch the
So-
idea to them, or did
No, well,
Bob
no,
go
well,
to 'em?
basically, no.
I think
they
they
got.
had it-
That's what I'm saying. They got lucky because they were desperate to sell.
put it up for sale.
and then they got lucky. Bob Bigelow happened to like read about them recently and
Right.
just and took it.
Well,
he
because
made
Terry
an
did
offer.
Terry did an interview with the local paper,
Yeah.
And he says in later interviews, he says he said he tamed it down for the local paper because he didn't want to come off as crazy.
Yeah.
But even though like there was a lot of things that happened around the town, people equated to it being so close to that ranch.
Yeah.
So what Terry did was he bought another ranch about 25 miles away and moved his herd, but he left his herd on that ranch.
He was a manager.
He managed that ranch
Bigelow
for Bob Bigelow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. All these things happen around Terry Sherman.
Right.
So, like, one of the major incidences they talk about is the mutilation of cattle and animals. Like, there was, body parts found cleanly severed. Like,
no blood.
No blood. Like, not like no blood around, but like they dissected the thing later, and there was no blood in the fucking veins anywhere in these body parts. There was I saw the pictures of it. There was a cow that was basically splayed out on the ground, just a hollowed out cow.
Oh. Yeah.
Like no blood anywhere, no prints leading up to it. Nothing.
Yeah.
It was just there.
You can do that if you freeze time.
Here's a fucked up thing that really, when because I was watching a documentary. There's a good documentary called the Hunt for the Skinwalker. I suggest you check it out.
Yes.
That's
what's
a good.
it?
That's a pretty good.
Jerry
Cantrell?
I don't know.
George Knapp did a lot of reports on it. Yeah,
it's just based on his reports.
Yeah,
from coast to coast.
That's one of the most in-depth documentaries of the Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah,
I wanted to watch
it's really good. It just came out a few months ago, or maybe a couple of months ago. Anyway, the most fucked up thing I've heard, seeing that documentary and researching it myself, is the fact that when these occurrences happen, the phenomenon, they have the NIDS, they were there for the study. And try to understand these anomalies I'm drunk. I can't even say it right. Excuse me.
Two beers, you're not drunk.
Yeah, I hardly ever drink. So the thing that really tripped me out is like like I said, you got people there to study and the paranormal activity that's going there. But every time something happens, it's original. It only happens once. It never occurs. It never repeats ever. Every single fucking occurrence is different.
Even the wolf.
That's the thing.
The wolf. They
that's
saw
the
the wolf only for like the first year.
No, I thought the wife saw the wolf.
No, but the thing is, hold on.
The wife never went back out after the first year or two. She never was there.
They could, because it's so hard for them to study this. They could not apply the scientific method because you need, when you study something, you need to see it happen over, trial over. They couldn't do that because what they would do every time something happened, they would study it. And they would prepare, okay, if this was going to happen again, here's what we're going to do. Or try to, what they can gain out of it. But nothing ever repeated itself. Yeah. Every occurrence was fucking
one-time
unique.
deal.
It's its own fucking episode. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, so, the theories that I read, like, Terry Sherman was convinced that his property was a spot on Earth that was a portal of some kind from another dimension or another planet or another time that aliens or whoever interdimensional beings could enter into Earth and and leave, and that's what that property was. For whatever reason, that piece of land in Utah was the perfect spot for that, because apparently that is the most researched, scientifically researched piece of property as far as paranormal and alien activity goes.
Yeah,
in the entire United States.
Wow.
So, or the entire world,
actually.
Yeah, I think you're right. The entire world.
Who's the one that saw the? I don't mean to interrupt you, but who's the one that saw the Native American, the Indian, through a portal? Did y'all hear about that?
What?
I didn't hear about that.
Well, apparently, I want to fact check me, but whatever. It's just
goddamn right.
They saw a Native American in the woods, and they were thinking that they were seeing them through a portal, and he was calm and everything. And then when they kind of approached it, he kind of seemed a little shocked, and then he vanished off. And that's, I guess, why do they call it Skinwalker Ranch? I thought Skinwalker had to do with something with the Native Americans turning into anomalies.
Shapeshifter. They're
Exactly.
referring to the
Shapeshift.
wolf, basically.
Yeah, the wolf.
But
beings.
but that's the thing, though. If what's causing this? Who or what? They're saying that it could be that wolf or whatever form it can take. They speculate that we're being tested.
Right.
It could just be somebody could be trolling from a different dimension.
Right.
It's all
Well,
seriousness.
or else
I'm
it could
serious.
be
Like
another,
Those damn trollers.
but the thing is, hold on, because you talked about too. You mentioned about the bulls.
Yeah.
Remember you talked about the bulls
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
were gone.
yeah.
They speculate whatever this thing is. They're always one step ahead of
exactly.
the investigators.
Exactly.
Every single
Exactly.
fucking thing this
And
thing
that's why Terry
is,
thought he was probably being spied on.
or hunted.
Or hunted. There
That's
you
what
go.
They say
Yeah.
is hunted because
I'm out.
It has the characteristics of being hunted, and it's fucking scary. It's like whatever the fuck this thing is, or maybe it's multiple
or
things.
they.
That's
what's
know.
even
Like,
scarier.
Well, see, in there,
Yeah,
in that
it's
one thing
fucking
where
frightening.
there is a blue orb around a horse, and the horse was just hanging out, chilling, drinking a beer, and then I guess when he got like Terry was approaching it, or someone was
The
approaching.
horse was drinking a beer.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, exactly. When I hang out with horses, we drink beer. But I'm just saying, like when he got
Fuck 'em too,
closer,
no rubbers.
the orb was going crazy, and then when we got to the horse, the orb left, right? But when we got to the horse, there was deep
You're worse.
claws on its leg. Did y'all not hear about that or
No.
anything?
I didn't hear
Hear that one.
Well, one thing I
was drunk, so whatever.
Yeah.
no.
One thing I wanted to do for this, maybe for other paranormal stuff, like I always like to get the other perspective from somebody who's skeptical. Like I
Well-
wanted to see skeptics what they had to say
I
about
had something
it.
about the dire wolf.
I didn't get to research that, but a lot of it, just on a documentary I saw yesterday, and then all the reading I'm doing about it, it just
One-sided.
that's not one sided. It's pro for like believing in it.
Well,
Basically.
so here's what gets me. Here's what gets me. The whole thing about the wolf, like if you take like just that, all the other lights and shit like that, I can think could be maybe teenagers fucking with them or whatever. If I could be a skeptic, you could explain that away.
Right.
But here's what gets me. Who lives in that area of the world and moves onto a ranch? Now, mind you, these are people that have lived on ranches for a long time. Terry is a long-time rancher.
He's
moves
college
herds.
educated. The guy's not a dummy.
He's not dumb. If you listen to him talk, he's very
Yeah.
well spoken. He chooses his words very distinctly.
yeah.
But they talk about when he talks about this wolf-like creature, and they've seen this. He calls it a wolf-like creature. His wife described it as a wolf. A
Right.
wolf 2 to 3 times bigger than a normal wolf. And after their first incident with it, she complained to the local authorities because she had seen the wolf before it had approached the family the time that Terry shot at it.
Right.
So she had seen it and went and had complained to the local authorities, and they looked at her like she was retarded. They were like, there hasn't been a wolf here
say
since in 100 years almost.
Right.
That nobody has, and this is before gray wolves were reintroduced into Yellowstone. I mean, we're talking like wolves in this area of the country were extinct.
Right.
So like somebody coming up and saying like, "Hey, I'm having a wolf problem," and like they're big wolves, like that's like us having an HOA meeting in my neighborhood. And somebody bring up,
Fucking
be like,
HOA loser.
like
They are losers.
like
I meant Rob, but yeah.
that, it's okay. Like we'll have this out later. But I mean, that's like
what you
the
mean.
neighborhood having an HOA meeting and complaining about fucking
Company truck in
grizzly
someone's driveway.
bears.
Yeah, I got you.
Fucking
and
Simpsons.
grizzly bears coming into their fucking trash cans. It's like, what? Like
Well,
that doesn't.
Swiping or picketing a
Well,
basket.
listen. There's so many theories out there, right? And I can only chalk it up as this. What if this lone wolf, was drinking a beer in Nevada, they're doing some nuclear tests, got hold of radiation, reproduced,
I need you to
bang
look-
some more wolves.
I need you to look at a map and see how far Skinwalker Ranch is from any nuclear testing
Well,
site.
I'm telling you, like, think about it, man. It's like it can't be more than 12 hours. No, seriously, I just looked it up right now. From Nevada to Utah, it's I know they're
a
big
12-hour drive. You're talking about a walk.
that lives in the a wolf that lives its life out in the wilderness that could take 20 years to get over to wherever it needs to go, right? But I'm just trying to say is, what if it had radiation and it reproduced? There's so many different things that can happen, and a wolf. What if these hold on? What if these people have never seen a wolf before, and they're like, and I'm not trying to be skeptical because I want to believe. Trust me, I'm all about Mulder and Scully.
What about
I want to believe, but
what about the pictures that they have of this?
But that's
wolf?
kind of,
See, I never actually saw them. You actually
I just
saw
the
pictures?
I actually saw
the
pictures.
I gotta
pictures.
see this
But
shit.
see, think about the pictures. Anything can be altered. Really can.
You can
Nah.
Photoshop something in
Yeah, I mean,
1995.
look at Billy Mott. Okay, no, I'm not even going to that. But listen, anything could be altered. Really. What I'm just trying to say is like you always have to think of the other side of the spectrum. And I'm not saying that I don't believe it. I do believe it. But what if the Sherman family never seen a wolf and they see this wolf? Because wolves can actually come up to
This
people.
is a college educated
I understand
man.
that. I understand that.
You're telling me that a college
But what if he never
educated
seen
man had never seen a fucking wolf? They've seen a dog.
right.
So, like,
Hey, man. Anything's
a
possible.
wolf is twice the size of a dog.
Right.
So if you say this thing is 2 to 3
What if
times
it's
the
juiced
size
up?
of a wolf,
But I understand that. I totally.
that's a big fucking animal.
I'm with you. Even with the hostility in your voice, I am with you. I am totally with you. But I'm just trying to say, like, there's always room for possibility. Not to say that it is, but I'm just saying, what if I've never seen a wolf and I've seen one, like, oh, that's a big fucking dog. Well, that's not a dog, And then, but it's here hanging out, drinking a
let
beer
me-
with me.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If you've never seen a wolf let's just assume you've never seen a wolf in your entire life.
I never
The
have.
only,
to be
the
honest
only
with you.
thing, the only thing you've ever seen is a dog,
Right. And
The
a
only thing you've
coyote
ever
probably,
seen is a
yeah.
dog and a coyote, because he said, the wife has said that they had coyote problems and wild dog problems,
Right.
and they had coyote, wild dog, and wondered why the wolf had wandered onto their property. So if you've never seen a wolf in your entire life,
Right.
and all you've ever seen is a coyote and a dog, why would you compare something and say this looks like a wolf but 2 to 3 times as big? That's a big fucking animal.
Well-
if you've never seen a wolf, you know that a wolf is bigger than a dog.
Right.
Like, if you've never seen a wolf, you would assume that a wolf looks like, I don't know, a Malamute or a Husky or a German Shepherd.
Right.
But bigger. So now you're saying that this creature that you saw
Right.
is 2 or 3 times bigger than that.
I get you, and I'm with you.
Even if you've never seen a wolf, that's saying like I saw a German Shepherd that was 4 times as big
Right.
as a German Shepherd. That's a German Shepherd the size of a Volkswagen. That's a big fucking animal.
No, I understand that. I understand that, but you can't discredit the fact that maybe what if the statement that they gave was under pressure and then like they meant to say of a dog or a wolf. I mean, the thing is that
Okay, let's say that it was let's say they over exaggerated. That thing wasn't that big. Let's say that it was 2 times the size of a wolf.
Right.
That's still a big fucking.
No, it's
creature.
still big and huge, but
That's from from
there's
ground
always-
to
there's
from
always
ground to
room.
shoulder, from ground to shoulder. That's still like
what she said was the
4.5
size.
feet tall.
What she said was the size of a car, and I get it. Okay, I understand. But
small car.
Okay, small car. You cannot discredit the possibility that anything's possible.
I don't.
Okay, and what if that wolf
Fucking dickhead.
was contaminated in some sort, and it was juiced up, and it was juiced up. I mean, I'm just saying anything's possible.
Fucking things flexing? What are you talking about?
Exactly.
I think it's
flexing.
flexing its cock walking.
I mean, if Utah's not that
Really?
Utah's not that far from Nevada, and if
it
it got
is that far. Look at a map.
I have.
Okay,
actually.
besides that, but
I'm just saying, like anything's possible. What if it, there's do a lot of nuclear testing over there? What if it got caught into some radiation or something, and its offspring was?
yeah,
crazy.
that's-
I think
anything's possible.
I think that
I want to
theory-
believe it's extraterrestrial. Trust me, man. And
Yeah.
if I go party
I
with some
think-
ETs tonight,
see,
I'm down.
Okay, here's what you're missing. You're assuming that wolves live in the desert.
Exactly. That's a good point too. But
There's nothing.
anything's
no.
possible. But anacondas don't live in Florida, but
No.
they're in the Everglades right now because
No,
people
anacondas are not in
because
the
people
Everglades.
they are
Ball
'cause people-
pythons are in the fucking
No,
Everglades.
anacondas do because they buy them from these conventions and they throw them. They get too big and they throw them in the Everglades. It's a fact, man.
why can't they just throw them like in lousy?
Or why can't they burn them? I don't know.
Burn them too. Yeah. You're right.
The fact of the matter
That's
is
a lot
is that-
easier, you're right.
The fact of the matter is a wolf
Right.
A wolf would need
Listen.
a pack to survive.
When Paul says something about, I want to hear the other side of the spectrum. I actually listen to the other side of the spectrum, and people are saying, with these mutilated cows and this and that, they go and
what did they explain about that?
When they say, well, this is the first time I'm hearing about how it is like a lightsaber, striking them and there's like no blood. Okay, right?
Yeah.
But their side
but no
was,
cauterization.
okay,
wound.
but
yeah,
their side
that's
their
too
side
big
is
heat.
this. This is what they're saying. They're saying like raccoons, possum, and all that. They're fucking like leechers, right? So they go for the softest tissue. The softest tissue goes up the ass,
Yeah.
and they start chewing at that and all in that, and they get it all up in there and gut out the whole thing
in
over
less
time.
than 15
But-
minutes.
Yeah,
hey,
I was
listen,
gonna
man.
say,
no,
yeah,
I understand that, but that's their side. And Paul said, I want to hear their side.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you what I
Okay,
heard when I was
yeah.
researching it. And this
Right.
is what I heard as well
There's-
on the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
It's how Nevada's right there, and wolves. Who interacts with wolves?
Yeah.
No one really does. And when they do, they are friendly to people unless they're threatened. And once they're threatened, they'll attack.
I want you to look at a map.
Not me.
I
The
want
spectators, man.
whoever
Yeah.
is skeptical.
Yeah.
If you want to take that road, look at where a map of all the nuclear testing is done to where this is. Let me
Right.
finish.
No,
You're
no,
taking
I understand. I
You're
get you.
taking a breath.
No.
Oh.
No, because you're making an assumption that they cannot travel when great
No,
great
that's
sharks
not what I'm saying.
can
You're
go-
not letting me finish.
Go ahead.
What you need to look at what a wolf that size would eat. That's where you need to focus.
Okay.
What would a wolf that size eat? Number one, it would not eat anything that is alive in a desert because things in a desert that are alive are small.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
That's animals grow to the size of their food source and their environment.
Right.
Okay? So, a great white shark grows big when it has a lot of food and a lot of room to move around.
Okay.
Okay? When humans do the same thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like when you don't have a lot of room to move around, not a lot of food to eat, you get Paul. You know what I mean? Like
What?
Okay. Fair enough.
So there's no reason your argument of nuclear testing and fucking Nevada in the desert is not it makes zero sense. It would not spread and leach far enough north to reach Utah to the point where a wolf that a population of wolves that have been extinct in that area since
Right.
1912, which is 50 years almost before the first nuclear testing was done in Nevada, 100 miles away.
Right.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
no,
But
you're-
a wolf is not just going to be like, hey, I'm going to go check
I
out
got
the
you.
desert
I
and
got
see
you.
what that's all
No,
about,
I would just-
and get hit by a nuclear bomb and just walk
Right,
away.
no, absolutely. I
Rob
guess
thinks
This is not fucking Indiana Jones 4 or whatever, 5 or whatever. Where
What
he-
was-
Rob thinks you represent the skeptical side.
that's how I feel. All right. But
yeah.
no,
but who's
But
the-
he's somebody here. He's playing the devil's advocate, and he's playing
Be
the
a
role.
devil to be skeptical? It's fucked
Well,
up,
I would
Rob.
take
You don't
another
know what a devil's
domefo.
advocate
Hey, if I could get a word in,
Yes, I do very much.
I'll take a domefo if you don't mind, sir.
I'll
But
give
no.
you something to your dome.
What I'm trying to say is this, I mean, they're big. I mean, what if they're big because they're muscular, right? And I mean, we don't know why they're big. Okay, you're assuming it's because of their they're eating and everything, right? But what if they're big because they're muscular and listen, anything's possible.
Well, you're saying it's like maybe this is a genetic anomaly, like of a wolf that big. Okay,
But
you're still. How do you maintain simple biology? How do you maintain and grow muscle mass?
It's
going
not even that.
I mean,
but like,
you may
this-
not be able to figure that out, but
well,
I'll
this,
tell you.
This is
No.
just based on
No,
the assumption.
Now you're attacking me. I'm like, what the hell, dude? Like, dude. I mean, honestly. I mean, there's
This argument is based
There's
on
cougars over there. There's mountain rams.
There's
I mean,
not.
There's rams. Are you telling me there's no mountain
sheep.
rams?
The mountain rams. You said cougars. There's
And
no cougars.
there's no mountain lions there?
There's no milk.
No,
so.
there's not.
Okay, well, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. But I mean, you tell me there's nothing bigger than a fucking snake is what you're trying to tell me.
No, that's not what I'm trying to tell you. What I'm trying to tell you is that there's not a fucking wolf the size of a fucking Volkswagen. There's not a food source
But
there
that's coming
able
from
to
someone.
sustain it.
That's coming from someone that claims that they saw it. You're disregarding the fact that anything's possible. You're just kind of seeing it one sided. You gotta see both sides. That's all I'm trying to say.
I don't have to do shit.
Well,
No,
no,
you really
but
don't
hold
have
on.
to. You're
but
right.
this is on a basis just this wolf exist.
Right.
Not that the fact that it's trolling. Also, too, I didn't mention this, but like people like that experience like these weird phenomena too. Like when they go around that ranch, they hear thoughts or hear voices in their head.
Yeah, that's true. No, you're right about
as
that.
well.
I didn't
That's
read about
fucked
that.
up. Yes, this is fucked up. Like they can hear. It's almost like you can hear it, but it's indistinguishable. It's like kind of low, but it's fucking there. You can hear it, and it's fucking crazy.
I heard about
I
that.
mean, these are the many things like they.
We should do a gentleman no class road trip. To
Yeah,
the
I don't know, man. They
Mountain
said,
lions
hey,
are found
no,
in all major mountain ranges
Navajo.
in Nevada and Utah. So
Fuck
eat a dick.
mountain lions.
I'm just saying.
Have you
Navajo.
seen?
Hey,
Have you
Hey,
ever seen a
I'm
mountain lion there?
going. I've never been there.
hey,
There you go.
not even some Navajo Indians are even
I love it.
scared.
I love
to-
proving
like,
Rob
when,
wrong.
When you bring up Skinwalker to them, they're really frightened to talk about it. Even uttering the phrase
Yeah, sure.
is. Yeah, they don't even do that. They don't even want to do that because it's that frightening them, and they're just in their heritage.
I believe the Sherman family were
That's
talking
fucking
about how
crazy.
they heard like a million voices.
Yeah,
in their
also,
head.
You know what?
And-
Also, too, like they would at night they would hear machinery underneath them. They can feel it. They can hear like if something like mechanical stuff was going. It's fucking weird. That was another thing too. They would hear and feel the vibrations. At least if underneath or if not, like not too far from the distance from them, they can hear. If there was like construction going on, something like with mechanical, just you can hear the hydraulics or whatever, just anything that sounds mechanical, like there's something was constructing underneath them, and it's just fucking weird. These episodes, like it just there's so much variety of odd occurrences that this is the weirdest fucking thing I've ever heard of, and I'm like,
Who bought that property after the Shermans? What was his name?
it was
again?
Bob Bigelow.
Bob Bigelow.
But
Okay, that's right.
as of 2016,
I know,
he
right.
sold it to somebody else, an anonymous person who wants to remain anonymous. I don't blame him. And they interviewed him in
They interviewed an anonymous person.
yes, but he's he's voice
mask.
Hide the
modulation,
face.
and he's
Yeah.
don't hide his face. And he just straight up says like I don't want to reveal my name. And well, I was like he
Got to
just-
reveal something, guys.
He doesn't want any attraction, any distractions or
It's me.
anything for the media or anybody coming up to him from his work. They're here to work, and that's it. They just want to continue the studies and try to understand these weird phenomena.
He's saying that Bob Bigelow sold it. Whoever he sold it to,
Yes.
he sold it to somebody that is continuing research in the paranormal. On
Yes, that was the deal, basically.
Oh, okay.
That was the deal.
Because he found out that wolf wasn't real, motherfucker.
They felt ripped off.
No, but Bob Bigelow, what I was trying to get at is that,
Bam Bigelow.
yeah, no, but wasn't he trying to like develop like hotels in space? Did y'all
You
hear about
said
that?
that. I've
Y'all hear
heard
about that?
That's another topic. We're getting off topic.
No, because I was trying to get that the reason why is that he bought that property was to like do some testing himself, like space testing. Thought that maybe you heard that, but I guess not. Never mind.
I didn't hear that. I think that's about all the time we've got left, or we've got for tonight on the
No.
the Skinwalker Ranch topic.
No, sir. We're just getting started.
No, this is it, bro. This is where we're at.
Yeah.
Guys, you like this?
I think we should bring. We may the next podcast we have. We may bring. Hopefully, we've talked about this before. We may bring our buddy Randy on here, who's very
He will tell you that there's mountain lions in Nevada as well. I'm telling you.
You want to talk about a college educated motherfucker? That guy's got more college education than all of us sitting at this table. But
I can't wait to meet
Bullshit.
that guy.
That don't mean shit.
you've met him.
Yeah,
I
that
know.
means shit, Rob.
Oh, that don't mean shit. Raph, let's hear what you have. Like, you interjected a lot into this conversation about the Skinwalker Ranch.
That was me
Dude,
talking, motherfucker, not Rob.
Yeah, I know.
I
It was
didn't say
sarcasm.
much. I didn't say much. It's because I pretty much watched the same documentary he saw. So
Raph's
Yeah,
like,
so-
I watched the same video he watched on
Yeah,
YouTube. So,
so-
I mean, Paul.
What am I,
I
an
mean,
extension of
what-
you?
what-
Don't fucking use me. I'm not your fucking condom.
hey. Okay.
You
I'll-
will be later.
dropping loads. Nah. But anyway, the wolf story was the only thing that really fucking frightened the shit out of me. Everything
that's
else
what got me, too.
I didn't really like
Lights
it
in the
didn't-
trees and shit like that.
it
I
didn't-
feel like
yeah.
can be explained away. The portal thing got me too. Like where,
Yeah.
but I think maybe we could revisit this at another point in time. This This is a good topic
Yeah.
to kind of debate and talk about all these kind of
there's
weird
like
things.
leeches. And
This is the like so the Skinwalker Ranch is like the biggest hotbed of paranormal activity in the United States today.
Probably
it's the most
world,
scientifically.
man. I think the world.
It's the most scientifically studied for sure because NIDS did 8 years worth of research on that property. So maybe we'll revisit this at another time. But for now, for this week's episode, this has been Gentlemen No Class.
I fucking hate you. My mom told me that today.
oh, nice. Dang. You got a lot of dialogue thrown your way, man.
Yeah.
Well,
It's life.
until next time, guys, I'm Jake.
Ralph.
I've been fucking palled.
I've been fucking palled also. But I'm Rob. You can support us by liking our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, find us and follow us on Twitter and Instagram under the handle @GentlemenNoClass. Also, check out our website, gentlemennoclass.com, for all your latest Gentlemen No Class news.